a recovering pessimist's perspective on the secrets of success. Hi, I'm Jeshua, with Magnificent You. Are you a glass half full or half empty type of person? It says a lot about you, probably more than you might think. Before I can tell you which of these two options is better, I need to tell you my personal experience. I've always been, ever since, a small child, the kid who didn't want to do the thing, whatever that thing was. And then, as I started getting older, and I got to the point where I could reasonably do, research on the internet, I came across the arguments for pessimism, which are, if you're a pessimist, like I was, the main one being, of course, if you're expecting for it to go badly, whatever that is, you're not going to be disappointed. And if anything, you'll be pleasantly surprised when something does actually go well. That argument resonated with me quite a bit, and it seemingly does for a lot of other people. Why bother risking unnecessary heartache when things probably aren't going to work out anyway? I mean, look at the optimist. Look at the optimist with those rosy-colored glasses and their expectations that things might actually turn out for the better. I mean, come on, really? That's not realistic, is it? And as I grew older, those truths seemed to be more and more solidified. Something would go wrong. Well, of course it went wrong. Things always go wrong. Something else would go wrong. Well, duh. But there's something that we have to remember. As humans, we are far more likely to remember the bad than the good. It's a fundamental principle of persuasion in marketing and politics and anything else. It's way easier to get a person to act on the fear of losing something they already have, or think they already have, compared to the benefit of gaining something new. It's just how our psychology works. We're way more inclined toward one than the other. That is just a fundamental fact of our psychology. And as I said before, it's just more realistic to think that things are going to go worse, right? I mean, that's obvious. Well, that's not necessarily true. And when I read, for the first time, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, I was alerted to an interesting fact that seemingly other places also communicate. And, of course, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway was written by a PhD psychologist. So, if anybody knows what's going on, she probably does. And what she communicated, one of the many fantastic things that she said in that book, was that 90% of the things that you're worried about are never going to happen. So, the pessimist wins about 10% of the time. All that other stuff that inevitably the pessimist worries about, because of course there needs to be something to worry about, it's just not going to happen. The fundamental flaw in most arguments for pessimism that I see is that pessimism is more realistic. And that, according to that number, is just not true. It's not realism. It's pessimism. Now, is that to say that the optimist is the realist when it comes to the world? That, yes, everything always goes well and hunky-dory and oh, everybody loves each other and world peace. Yeah, we'd have world peace if the optimist was right. So when it comes to the world, viewing just your surroundings, I was going to say the outside world, but really we are just part of the world, so there's not really that distinction between outside and inside. It's not as distinct as a lot of us think it is. But ignoring that, when you look at world events, politics, big business, whatever have you, what happens, happens. The realist does their best to not put on either set of lenses, neither the optimist's overly rosy-colored glasses or the pessimist's really dark and grungy, slimy lenses. Instead, the realist puts on the lens of, it could be either way, let's see what happens. So when it comes to the outside world, that, in my perspective, is usually the best thing to do. Find the common ground in the middle. Now, when it comes to yourself and personal growth and overcoming obstacles and achieving whatever it is you want to achieve in life, now that, objectively, wouldn't it seem that optimism is the better option for yourself? Because if you think that you cannot do it, you're right. Because no matter how hard you try, deep down in that subconscious of yours, which is where all the real thinking goes on, it's not possible. So of course nothing you do can achieve it. Whereas if you're optimistic about it, deep down in the subconscious, where all the real thinking happens, and you think, yeah, I'll do that. If I fail, that was a learning experience. That's one of the things about pessimism that really, that bugs me, that I wish I hadn't fallen for. The argument that, at least I won't be disappointed. That's just false. At least for my personal experience with the pessimistic mindset. Every time something went bad, it would just still hit hard. But the optimistic perspective, oh, that didn't go well this time. What can I do better next time? Rather than taking the blow, it's literally just, okay, I'll do that better next. Moving on. Next time will be better. Even multi-millionaires hit walls that they just cannot overcome. And when you look at that kind of person, obviously it's not the lack of knowledge of, persuasion techniques or sales or marketing or whatever else it might be. It's an internal problem because they don't think they can, or that they deserve, or whatever their personal issue might be. And so if those people struggle, this must be some form of universal thing that all of us humans have to deal with, right? The secrets of success, ultimately, are very simple in concept, but you'll take your entire lifetime and still be struggling with it. And that is the fact that you are your worst enemy. David Goggins, an ex-Navy SEAL and fitness superhero, puts it very well. You must go to war with your own mind. Your mind always has the tactical advantage. It knows your weaknesses, it knows your insecurities, and it will do everything that it can to keep you in your place. And what is your place? Wherever that subconscious that does all that thinking thinks you belong. Now, is that correct? Is that the objective fact that you belong there? Probably not. Very likely not. In fact, I'll go as far as to say absolutely not. Even Russell Brunson knows all of these things. If you don't know who Russell Brunson is, he has been a massive name in the internet marketing world for a very long time. And he went ahead and started, just on a personal whim, collecting first edition books by authors like Napoleon Hill and Elsie Lincoln Benedict, things that we'll talk about in future videos more. He even spent $1.5 million on the complete collection of Napoleon Hill's Laws of Success, the only known signed copy in existence. And that's just one, essentially, book, the many little books that they used to print back in those days, essentially one book 1.5 million, and he spent multiple millions on other books, all on this type of stuff. And unlike the stereotypical rich guy that you might see in a movie, he decided to make all of this available for the public. That's right, you can get access to exclusive, never before published manuscripts by some of the greatest minds in self-development ever. When you go here, or use the link in the description or in our comment section, you'll be one of the first people on the planet to ever get access to some of this extremely valuable material. And it will show you, once and for all, who you really are. To the only person that it actually matters to show. Yourself. We made a massive bonus bundle on top of that because we want you to make this decision to change your life for the better. So we made it as amazing as we could to the point where it's stupid to say no. So go ahead and check out the link and see for yourself what's involved. Since you made it this far into the video, obviously you'll like our future content just as much, so go ahead and leave this one a like and subscribe to the channel to be notified when we upload our future videos. If you're a pessimist and you're sad to see one of your ranks leave to the opposite side, go ahead and leave a comment and see if you can change my mind. Until next time.